Hey, good afternoon. Russell Hotels going live just for a couple minutes. You guys know how I do it. Today is Thursday, January 22nd. Hope you guys are doing well. I said good afternoon. I guess I'm 2 minutes from like 12 o'clock. So, yeah, I guess it is technically afternoon. Is it? I don't know. Anyway, hope you guys, did I say this already? Hope you guys are doing well. I'm Russell of Hotels. I do this daily check in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Today is Thursday, so you guess what? I got one more day of this to do. Okay, I did one. I didn't do one yesterday. Not technically, I did one. But I did do a live. I did I was on someone's podcast, and I'll talk about that in a minute because I got to thank him for allowing me to come on there and answer questions. Like, I mean, I felt kind of he was like grilling me with questions. I mean, can you believe that? But anyway, but no, it was all good and it's all fun. You know what? I woke up this morning thinking like, man, I love what I do. Do a lot of people get up and say that and just be thankful for what they do or how they do it or how they show up on a daily basis or whatever? So, man, I just, I guess you just have to be blessed, right? Well, I know I'm blessed, so I appreciate the blessings that I get, and I don't take them for granted because guess what? Anything that I'm doing now could be taken away in a snap of a finger. So I do appreciate everything that I'm able to do and continue to do it and continue to do it at a high level. I appreciate that, right? So it's all good. So we're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, which is a gaming platform. I say that all the time. TikTok, okay, supposed to be live on TikTok today, and Facebook. So feel free to make comments if you're there. You want to make comments, say, hey, what's going on? I appreciate it. Just reach out and touch because that's what it's all about. It's all about engagement. It's all about letting people know that you're there, right? And it's all about that visual thing, right? So I've always been talking about for all of 2026, my mantra is visibility. Get out there and let people know who you are, what you do, and how you can help them, right? So and this is why I do this, right? This is why I do the daily check-in and on air with Russell of Hotels, which comes on every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. And when I'm able and when someone wants to ask me to be on their show, I never turn that stuff down because it's all about visibility and you have to elevate your brand, right? So that's what it's all about. So, and I try to help, well, I like helping hotels elevate their brands, right? Hotels, DMOs, which are destination marketing organizations, or destination cities or whatever. The tourism arm of a city or a destination is called a DMO, destination marketing organization. So a lot of people know them as being CVBs, Convention and Visitors Bureau. So same thing. And specifically, I try to help. I mean, I'm here to help out anybody. It's all about showcasing their brand. It's all about elevating their brand to another level. Because contrary to popular belief, everyone does not know your city, your destination, your hotel, your DMC. Everybody doesn't know it exists. Okay. Contrary to popular belief, everyone does not know that it exists. Okay. So my job is to assist in that if I can, if you allow me to do that, and I appreciate if you do. I mean, that's good. I mean, because it's all about that. And I do no show. I will never do a show like the daily check-in or on air with Russell of Hotels without showcasing a hotel. And sometimes it could be I can do the same one 2 or 3 times in a row. It just depends on what's going on. And today I'll be showcasing the once again the Hyatt Regency LAX, excuse me. Um, so yeah. So in fact, I just got a text from Mr. Victor Simmons. So let me just move forward and kind of let's see, make sure he's on. Hopefully he's on. But feel free to make comments. Once again, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and Facebook. Okay, so feel free to make your comments and let me know where you are. So I'm trying to be more intentional about this, asking people where they are, where are they in this world, this great big world that we're in, right? So, I just want to know, just want to know where I'm reaching. You always want to reach out and touch people. Well, where am I reaching and touching you? That's what I want to know. Okay. And yeah, I'm silly. Yeah, definitely that. So shout out to Victor Simmons, right? So yesterday I was able to go on his show, Victorious Endeavors. That's a big word right there. That's a victorious. So that's Victor's new company organization. He does speaking engagements. Can I say that he's writing a book? It hasn't been put out yet, but he is definitely authored at least one book, maybe several books, but I just know of one. And he started a podcast yesterday, right? So, and he allowed me to be the first guest, right? So Victor and I go way back. I mean, we have history. And then he asked me this question yesterday. He said, well, he drilled me on a lot of different questions, but he asked me, he said, "Hey, I was just thinking about this. Do you know how long we've known each other?" And because Victor and I go back to junior college days. Now we went to junior college together before we went to Cal Poly Pomona, which is, the university in Pomona, California, right? California State Polytechnic University. That's the full official name, right? But we knew each other at College of the Desert because we played football on the same team. But check this out. Even before that, when we were in high school, we were on opposite, and we went to opposite high schools. He went to Indio High. I went to Palo Verde High, which is in Blythe, right? We played against each other. Okay. He didn't know that was me throwing him around, but we played against each other, right? He didn't know until the next year, until we went to college together and said, I'm Russell from Palo Verde High. He said, "You're the one that used to throw me around all the time." I'm like, yeah, that's me. That's me. So so we've known each other, and like 43 years. We've known each other for about 43 years. Can you believe that? So, but anyway, and I said, "Man, did you age? I don't think we've aged. I don't know. Maybe we aged a little bit, but yeah." So we shared. He asked me a lot of questions about my career and kind of leadership. So his whole podcast has to do with leadership. So he allowed me to come on and talk about some of my experiences. And I mean, he asked some poignant questions. I mean, to the point. Because one thing about Victor Simmons, if you ever get a chance to meet him or to come on his podcast, he's going to ask you some questions because he wants to know everything about your experiences and how were you able to lead through different experiences. And this is raw, meaning I didn't hold back on anything, right? So if you ask me, I'm gonna tell you, right? So no, I didn't hold back, and it's basically you never have no one can ever take away your experiences, and your experiences are your truth, right? So whatever you did, however you did it, those are your truth. It's just all about, do you want to explain that? Do you want to let people know? Do you want to let people know that this is what really went on, right? And like I said, I don't have a problem with that because my experiences are my experiences, and they led me to where I am now. Okay, so even the stuff that I was not particularly proud about, I shared it because in order for you to grow, you have to be able to share certain things, right? You have to and you never know who you're touching or who else is listening to it and who else maybe had to do something like that or maybe having issues with dealing with it or getting past certain things, right? So it can be kind of therapy too, you know what I mean? To kind of get it off your chest, like, you know what? I've been waiting 30 years to get that off my chest. Not that I had been, because I told that story before, but never kind of in a form like that. So, but yeah, so is what it is, and be proud of your career and where you came from and where you are, and go from there, right? Like I said, I've been blessed. Yeah, I've had some missteps. Don't get me wrong. I've had some missteps in my career, but you come out on the other side if you're positive enough, if you're grateful and appreciative of people that have helped you along the way. You'll come out on the other side and you'll be good. So there you go. And then I couldn't be Russell of Hotels without those experiences. I couldn't sit here and talk about those things because I hadn't experienced it, right? So how can I talk about certain things if I've never experienced it? So yeah, I experienced those things. I shared them. I appreciate Victor Simmons. Thank you so much for the lifelong friendship, 40 something years of friendship. I appreciate that. And to the next 40 years. So there you go. So if you haven't checked it out, It's there. The replay is on LinkedIn, my LinkedIn page as well as Victor. So LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. So if you want to check that out, the replay, please do so. You'll be glad you did. Okay, so and make comments. I mean, that's what it's all about. Make the comments. And back to what I was saying, and I do have a topic today. So not that I'm trying to rush through this, but I have a topic, and you guys want to hear the topic. Okay, you want to hear the topic because I put something out. Was it yesterday? I guess it was yesterday morning. I put this out. Had to do with general manager and housekeeping. Okay, a housekeeper at a hotel and the general manager of a hotel. Who's more impactful? Okay, so that's going to be taken care of today. I'm going to discuss that after we get through this. So the probably one of the last things I do here, because I got to I got to get it built up, right? I can't just let you know what the heck I'm gonna say. What I think about this. No, I gotta go through the whole daily check-in, right? So come on now, bear with me. But yeah, you're gonna be glad you stick around to hear it, though. I think so. I think so. I see people in the background. They're like ready to pounce on this. But anyway, but like I said before, I never do one of these shows without showcasing a hotel because, like I said, it's all about visibility. Okay, it's about elevating brands, and that's what Russell of Hotels is all about. People ask, like, where'd you come up with this name, Russell of Hotels? Because I've been in hotels for so long. When I started my business, I'm like, well, what would I be known as? What do I know? And it was hotels, right? I've been to 14 different hotels, okay, in 25 years, okay, 25, 30 years, something like that. Been to 14 different hotels, held various positions, various titles, various responsibilities. And so when I went to start my own company, I'm like, well, what would I name it? And I wanted my name in there, right? Because it's all about branding. So I wanted my name in it, but I was like, what do I know? What have I been about for the last umpteen years? And it was hotels. So I came up with Russell of Hotels. I threw it to someone else that was like work with me in Broughton Hotels, right? Chris Pineda. I asked him. He probably doesn't even remember this. I asked him. I said, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting my own, whatever, blah blah blah." And I have a couple names. I don't even remember the other names of the potential names of the company. But he saw Russell of Hotels. He said, "Hey, I like that one." And you know why he said he liked it? Because I asked him. I said, "Well, why you like that particular name?" He said, "Because Russell of Hotels sounds like hotel royalty." Boom! When he said that, I'm like, hell yes, hotel royalty. I mean, there you go. So that's how the name came about. So just in case you hadn't heard that story before, you heard it now. I guess I'm in a sharing mood today. So anyway, once again, the hotel I'm showcasing today, and feel free to make your comments. I'm still looking for some comments. Just let me know where you are. Okay, you don't even have to make comments. Just let me know where you are. I'll put your name or put your comment on the screen so the whole world can see. The whole world's your oyster today. Okay. Hyatt, Regency LAX, Century Boulevard. And I checked this hotel, and I showed this hotel a couple of days ago as well. But maybe this is your first time checking it out, and that's fine. 579 guest rooms, 50,000 square feet of meeting space. And one fun fact about this hotel, I used to be the director of sales and marketing here. But the fun fact is, the twist and turn is that it was not a Hyatt Regency LAX. It was called the Radisson LAX at the time when I worked there. So I go back to 2004 to 2006 at this hotel, right? So same footprint, different brand. And I have to say this, Hyatt Regency LAX is definitely a better brand than the Radisson was. Okay. But like I said, same footprint. The renovation that they did, and they just completed renovation. They did an excellent job. So if you've never been to this hotel, it's the closest hotel to LAX, or for people outside of Los Angeles. LAX is the international airport that you would fly into if you're coming into Los Angeles. And it's literally right across from the airport. Okay. And this is the funny thing. This is a crazy thing that you wouldn't even know that you were in the flight path, because you don't hear, like, there must be I want to say they're triple pane or quadruple pane windows, because you cannot hear unless you're outside. If you're in your guest room, you're not going to get, awakened by, a sudden plane taking off or coming in. I mean, as far as soundproof, that building is soundproof. Okay. And they did an excellent job in the renovation. As you can see, one of the guest rooms right there. Once again, 579 guest rooms, 50,000 square feet of meeting space. You can't beat it. And I only have a couple pictures, so don't fret. Don't be worried. It's okay. All right. Oh, and feel free to my QR code is there in the corner. So feel free to, take your phone. And if you want information about me, boom, there you go. And this is one of the after the renovation. So they renovated the lobby, right? And they took out two what do you call them? Escalators. There are escalators in the middle of the lobby. So they took those out and it created so much space. They moved the bar around where this space is right here that I'm showing this where this kind of boardroom is. That used to be a bar. So they moved the bar to the other side of the lobby. And they, like I said, they took out the escalator. So, I mean, if you had been there before and walked in there blindfolded, you wouldn't even know it was the Hyatt Regency because you remember the escalator right in the middle because it was the focal point. You walk in and you saw the escalator. But now the escalator is gone and they have meeting space. They have the bar's been moved. The lobby is huge, so you have plenty of space to just spread out and just be, if that's what you want to do. Or office out of there, because believe me, I use that free Wi-Fi. So I go there with my laptop and I'm like officing out of there for the day. My office of the day, Russell of Hotels. Get that free Wi-Fi. So there you go. As you can tell, I mean, it doesn't take a lot to get me excited. Okay, so I wanted to show this, and that building right there is not the hotel, right? That's a separate building. But what I wanted to show is that although this is an airport property, they still have outside space. Because a lot of people think that, oh, there's no green space at a hotel, so we have to do everything inside. No, 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 no. You have this green space right here, a good sized lawn where you can do things outside. You have your breaks out here. You can, have tables and chairs with umbrellas and all that, do a little barbecue. You can do a lot of things here. So it's pretty functional. The space is pretty functional. So it's not just inside space, is a lot of good outdoor space as well. And right on the other side of that wall is that's where the pool is. The pool is there as well, right? So you do have, like I said, a lot of people think because it's an airport property, it's all concrete, cement, and no, not at least not at this hotel. So there you go. I just want to show that option. And this is the bar. So this is the new bar that they did because the bar was on the other side, and I think I showed that already. So there you go. There you go. So, okay, now we get into it, right? Now we about to get to the topic. And the topic, who is more impactful? Now, yesterday I posed that question yesterday morning, and I said, the answer is coming shortly. Well, shortly was like 24 hours. Like, okay, that's today. All right. And it was planned that way. Okay. It was planned for me to do it during my daily check-in today. So don't think I forgot. It's just that, you got to have a plan when you do these things. So let's see. What am I doing here? I got to get to this because I have to change. Okay. So, oh, man. Whoo, I'm out of breath. I'm out of breath. I got to get my iPad out because I have to read these things, right? So, of course, I have three. I always make 3 points, right? Like 3 bullet points, right? When I have these topics or questions, things that make you go, that's a good assessment of that, or I don't agree with that. And believe me, everyone that does not have to agree with what Russell of Hotel says or Russell Edmond. Okay, you don't have to agree with anything that I say. But remember, when I do things or when I share things, it's from my own experiences, right? So, and of course, I have an experience here as well, right? So before I get to this, I have to give you a backstory. Okay. So the other night, I guess that would have been like other early morning. So that was like yesterday morning, like early Wednesday morning, let's say 3 a.m. Wednesday morning. I'm awakened where I'm awake. And when I'm awake, I think about different things. Maybe it's about my business. It's about, things that I come up with. I come up with a lot of quotes early in the morning for whatever reason. It just happens, right? So I was thinking about some experience that I had working at my first hotel, which was the Courtyard by Marriott LAX, which is in El Segundo. Okay, and it goes to this one particular situation where it's myself, and I had just completed my training to become the housekeeping manager. Okay, so I went through a training, like, the ID program with Marriott, individual training program, where with Courtyard Marriott, you had to go through three disciplines. My first discipline was housekeeping. Okay, so you did housekeeping, you did front desk, and you did restaurant in order to be eligible to become a general manager someday. So this is my first experience, right? My first experience in a hotel, first everything, right? Right out of college. So I remember being in the office of the general manager, and we had a guest that day who was our regional VP. His name was Rich Lucas. Okay, Rich Lucas, and a lot of people may remember him from Marriott back in the day. And my general manager was a lady by the name of Patricia Del Benny. Okay, so maybe people remember her. I don't know. I haven't seen them in years. I assume they're fine. I don't know. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So we were in there having a conversation. It was the three of us. They were basically having a conversation. I'm just basically listening. And Patricia goes on to say, and I'm trying to paraphrase this. She goes on to say, "Hey, just so you know," and she's talking to her boss, Rich, right, the executive vice president. And she says, "Hey, I just want to let you know, maybe I forgot to tell you, I'm going to be off tomorrow because I have a doctor's appointment," or something like that. And he, like, it was no big deal to him. He was like, "Oh, okay. All right." And well, she took, I guess, offense to that. Like, why are you not more excited about, I'm not going to be here? Like, why are you not making a big deal? Why are you not asking questions? He's like, "Well, if you're not going to be here, you're not going to be here. It's not like we're going to close the hotel down. It's not like I'm going to call someone else in to take your spot." Basically, is what he was saying. And she was taken aback by that. And it went on and on. And then she basically said, "So you don't care that I'm not going to be here?" He said, "Patricia," he said, I would be more concerned if you had a housekeeper that would call off, because we would have to bring someone else in." So meaning, you're the general manager, and yeah, that's a big position in this hotel. We understand that, but you are not that impactful. You are not going to impact you being off tomorrow is not going to impact operations. Okay. We're not going to have to call anybody else in because you're not coming to work. And he broke it down like that. And remember, this is my first experience. So, although some people out there may say, "Oh, that's no big deal," for me, for someone that just finished their training and really still trying to navigate through this whole hotel thing, because this is my first hotel experience, it spoke volumes to me, because it gave me the importance of my department, okay, or the people that I had working for me, okay. And it came true. Like, somebody calls off in housekeeping, someone that cleans, back then it was 18 rooms a day. Now, maybe today I think it's like 13 or 14, or maybe some hotels it's probably less. It's based on square footage now. And that's another story for another day. But back then, they had to clean 18 rooms a day. Okay, so just say somebody close, God forbid, two people call off. Okay, you have to call someone else in, and hopefully the people that you call in are going to come to work. Because if not, then it has to be divvied up between the other people, the other housekeepers, right? So it made an impact, and like I said, it didn't click to me until that happened. This is my department, right? But what he said spoke volumes, and that probably helped me throughout the rest of my career, even to this day. Just those words that he said, or the way he said it, like, okay, general manager don't come to work. Okay, so you're not making a big impact. It's okay that you don't come to work, but let a housekeeper call off. And he said that. He said, "Well, let a housekeeper call off, and all hell is going to break loose." Basically, is what he said. So the topic, so you know where I'm going right this. You know where I'm going with this. And before I get there, there's a question. True, Russell. D. Roos. Thank you, D. Roos. Let me put your comment on there. This is from D. Roos right there. See, D. Roos, Donna Russo. I used to work with her. We used to work together at the Sportsman's Lodge Hotel. She was my sales manager. In fact, D. Roos is the first person to get me on a studio lot, movie studio lot. Never been there before. Never been on CBS Studios. She pulled some strings to get me on there, right? To get me on on the studio lot. I had never done that before. So Donna was so entrenched in the entertainment industry. That was her market. So she would get a lot of, uh, um, actors that were coming in, musical acts, all those kind of things that they would stay at the hotel. And it was all because of Donna Russo. So thank you, Donna Russo, D Roos. I call her D Roos. So thank you so much. I appreciate the comment. And of course, I always got to share things when I see somebody that pops on. I have to share with you. Let us know where you are, Donna, the city that you're in, because I want to make sure that we give that city a shout out too. So, okay, so let me get back to where I was. The topic. The topic is who is more impactful. Okay, so I think you know where I'm going with this. Okay, so number one, and like I said, no one has to agree with me. Okay, and that's fine. And you can agree or not agree. It's okay. It's one of those things that you have your experience, and Russell of Hotels has his experience. So before I get to number one, let me say this up front. The most important person in a hotel isn't always the one with the biggest title. Okay. It's the one who protects the product every single day. A general manager can miss a day and the hotel will still function. But if the housekeeper who cleans 14 rooms a day calls off, the entire operation feels it immediately, especially if you can't find someone else to come in and sub for that person. Okay. Because at the end of the day, guests don't pay for leadership meetings. They pay for a clean room. Okay. Whoo. So, and then now I move into number one. Number one, the housekeeper delivers the product. A hotel isn't the lobby, the logo, or the brand story. It's the guest room. If the room isn't clean and ready, the hotel can't operate at full capacity. Number two, housekeeping controls the guest's first and last impression. Guests may never speak to the general manager. Why do they need to speak to him? Unless there's an issue, right? But they will absolutely remember the cleanliness, smell, comfort, and condition of the room. That directly impacts reviews, repeat business, and trust. And number three, see, I'm quick and to the point here. One call off can disrupt the entire hotel instantly. When a housekeeper is missing, rooms don't turn, check-ins get delayed, and revenue gets impacted immediately. That's real-time influence, and it affects every department from the front desk to sales. And the final word here is, what's the final word, Russell? Is it right there? Is that where it is? Hold on. Leadership matters, but cleanliness is non-negotiable. The housekeeper doesn't just support the hotel, they make the hotel. And that's a direct quote from Russell of Hotels. So, yes, general managers are important. Yes, leadership is important. I understand that. And I'm sure there's some GMs out there that are like, what the hell is he talking about? Oh my God. Remember, I used to be a general manager too. So you take your job serious, right? But in the whole scheme of things, this all comes down to taking care of our employees. Okay. Take care of our employees. They need to be seen. They need to be heard. Okay. That's how a lot of unions get started, because we're not taking care of our employees, or union issues and all this kind of stuff disrupts, hotels, because we don't listen. We don't see them. Okay. I worked in housekeeping. Like I said, my first experience of my career was as a housekeeping trainee first, then a manager. And then I think I opened up 2 hotels as a housekeeping manager, and just know what goes on in that department, what they deal with, and not being seen and not being heard, and a lot of times not being respected. So when I came up with this topic, like I said, it was in the middle of the morning, early morning when I came up with this. And it was something that I hadn't shared in a while, right? So I was compelled to share that story, right? That, yeah, us as general managers, yeah, we have an important role as well. But at the end of the day, we hopefully, we're instilling leadership in our other people, like the housekeeping director, the front office manager, or rooms director, food and beverage, and sales, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, because we're up here and everybody else is below us, right? But we need all of them to do their jobs, right? But if that person doesn't come to work, if I miss the day at work, they don't shut down the hotel. I had a situation where it had to do with money, or the company I was working for didn't give increases like they're supposed to. And some departments, especially when you're a union house, if they don't get what they say, or what you say you're going to deliver on that date at that time, they'll just shut down. And I had a situation where, when I'm the general manager, I come to work because I was always at work early, and I'm like, normally I'm greeted by the housekeepers. I'm there, and I go and see them, and they're there, and they're having breakfast or whatever. They weren't there this one particular day, and I'm like, this is odd. And find out, I get a phone call like, "Hey, we're not coming to work today." I'm like, what do you mean not coming to work? There's like 10 of them, right? We're not coming to work because we didn't get our payment. We didn't get our retro payment or something for an increase. I'm like, what? So I called the company and say, or my VP, and say, hey, this is a situation, blah, 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 blah. I had to get finally the union rep shows up, which he was already scheduled to come in because he knew they were going to walk out. And it shut that hotel down for, like, basically, it put everything back about 4 hours, because they normally start at 8, right? They didn't start till about 11:30, 12 o'clock, because that's when they finally came in to do it. Now, if you talking about a hotel being at a standstill, and what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to clean all those rooms too. I'm going to pull people. It was impossible to do that, right? So when I saw that told me right there, yeah, I'm the general manager. I understand that, but you got to listen to your people. You got to know what's going on. You got to be the impact that I make is listening to them and hearing them out and helping them with certain things, or appreciating them, right? I remember as a director of sales, I would, at 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I always needed a energy pick me up, right? So I would eat these. This is long before, I stopped eating like Snickers bars and all that kind of stuff. So I'll have these little Snickers minis, and I would have them on my desk, right? So at 3 o'clock, because you're kind of at a low, pop one of those, one or two, three of those, and get your energy up, right? Well, I said, well, if I need a pick me up, I'm sure there's other people around this hotel that need that too. And specifically, with my housekeeping background, I spent a lot of time. I would eat lunch with them. I would walk the floors and see how they're doing, check some of their rooms and let them know that, hey, great room, whatever. So, and that carried on from me, from being in sales, at the front desk manager, to sales, to director of sales, to general manager. So those are things that I always did. And I would walk around with a bag at 3 o'clock of these Snickers bars and just give them out to each housekeeper. And it was appreciated, right? And that's all you want, right? People want to be, once again, they want to be seen, they want to be appreciated. Because you don't want it to come down to they're gonna walk out. Okay. Bottom line, you don't want that to happen. But when I asked that question of myself, right? But I wanted to see what other people said. Some people said, the general manager, because they set the leadership tone. They set the culture, and that could be true, right? That could be true. But if that person didn't come to work that one day, it's okay. But let a couple housekeepers not show up and see who's in control and see who has the most impact. Okay. So there you go. And I have one more comment. Let's see. I think it's a comment. You survive. Oh man, let's see what D Roos says. You survived my car. Yeah, I ain't gonna go into the story with D Roos right now, but yeah, D Roos, Yeah, I survived your car. Yes, I would go on sales calls with D. Roos, and I'm holding on for dear life. Okay, I'll just say that. I remember going through hills. I can't remember where we're going. We're going through these. We're going through like Coldwater Canyon or something like that, and there's a lot of hill kind of thing to get to like Hollywood. And yeah, yeah, I'm not white, but I had white knuckles after I got out of the car with D. Roos. Okay, so anyway, but you get me thinking. Yeah, I try to do that, D. Roos. Thank you so much. I appreciate your comments. I see Mr. David Gray. David is a neighbor of mine. I appreciate you, making comments. Cleanliness is next to goodliness or godliness. Yes, it is next to godliness. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate you coming on and just, being seen. But no one has told me where they are. Okay. What city are you located in? The world wants to know that. I need to know that. So, D. Roos, whatever city that you're in, let me know. Uh, David Gray, whatever city that you're in, I may know, but everyone else doesn't know. Okay. So, let me know what city you're in. And like I said, I appreciate all that. And like I said, everybody is not going to agree with Russell of hotels, but that's okay, and that's fine. So this is the QR code. You have any questions at all? My email is there. My website. In fact, I have to check my website because I was having it redone or kind of fine tuning it. And it's a work in progress. So hopefully we're getting a little closer to that. I haven't checked it out. D. Roos says she's in Palm Desert. Okay, D. Roos, I didn't know you're in Palm Desert. I used to live in Palm Desert. So D. Roos is in Palm Desert. Excuse me. So we appreciate you coming on and letting us know where you are around this world. Palm Desert is in the Palm Springs area for people that may be outside of California or Southern California. So thank you so much for that. We appreciate you guys coming on. Hopefully, I had to build up that question, right? I had to build it up. I couldn't just come to it, right? It has to end in like a crescendo, you know what I mean? So, but no, I appreciate it. I appreciate you, D. Roos. D. Roos got me. Do you remember D. Roos? Corinne Bailey Ray, who's a singer. Okay. She was one of your clients, or her client, her manager was her manager is one of your clients. And do you remember giving me tickets to go to Corinne Bailey Ray? I'm still a big Corinne Bailey Ray fan. So she's from the UK, but she sings this kind of soulful kind of R&B, right? So just look up Corinne Bailey Ray. So she stayed at the hotel, right? And I saw her, and I remember her in her British accent. She says, "Hello, love." That kind of thing. I don't know why I remember that, but it was all because of D. Roos. So D. Roos, she stayed at the hotel, and Donna, she went ahead, and I said, "Hey, where's she playing at?" I can't remember what venue she was playing with I think it was on Hollywood Boulevard. But D. Roos got me tickets. So I appreciate that, D. Roos. D. Roos got me tickets to Corinne Bailey Ray. You do remember? Okay, appreciate that. See, that's what I'm talking about, right? That's what I'm talking about. So no, D. Roos took care of me. In fact, D. Roos, um, Tina, who is the aide assistant director of sales at the Garland Hotel, Jessica, Rosie, and Natalie, they all took care of me, and I appreciate that. I appreciate their efforts, and kept that hotel busy. And you got good people, right? You had good people. Our housekeeping staff was good. What was Carmen Ruiz was our housekeeping manager, and just did a great job. So I appreciate it. So anyway, that is it. Thank you so much, D. Roos. Once again, David, appreciate it. And he didn't tell me where he was either. See, that's what I'm talking about. You ask people to tell them where you are, and then they don't do it, but that's okay. So that is it. I appreciate you guys coming on. I do this daily check-in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So guess what? I got one more day to do it. So, and it's all about just sharing information. It's all about showcasing hotels, all about showcasing destinations, right? So because anything within the hospitality space, that's what I'm going to do because I'm 100% about hospitality. Okay, hence the name Russell of Hotels. Right? It's not Russell of you know of movies. Right? No, I'm not doing anything that had to do with movies. Okay, no, I'm Russell of Hotels. So everything that has to do with that hospitality space, I'm all about it. So anyway, that is it. You guys have a great day. Thank you again for joining. And as always,